So it's the reason that I wore this jacket today. And, it hurt my heart really to see the whole Cam and Jim Jones and a little bit of Mason and everybody chiming in because, Dipset is kind of, let's just say, like, we grew up on Dipset, man. They were cultural icons at some point in time. And, Cam kind of made it seem as though the window wasn't as big as a group. They were never really a group. They were kind of like a collective of beings, man. A collection of talent, a hub where everybody clicked up and they got they sparring off and all of that shit. But it's not like they dropped every time they dropped, each person was on the track or something like to that nature. But so much came out of that collective of beings. Because I remember being in high school draped up in pink because I seen Cam, or the big T-shirts because I seen L's with the big T and the bandana on their head. Everybody played around with that a little bit. The Jeff Hamiltons with all the patches on it. That was kind of like an iteration of like the Dipset movement. Even when things started switching up, Jimmy started wearing the thermals with the trues or the nudies or something like that, with the Nike boots, with the chain joints, the BB Simon. They did so much in the culture without even recognizing they did it. Because at some point in time, everybody wanted big furs, big lapels on the big fur lapels, because it was some cocky shit. This is what we did in New York City. But to see these guys go back and forth at it, it's kind of what New York doesn't need, and what they shouldn't have shown to the public. I think Jimmy kind of let him get tricked off his square by the Justin kid. But it's just a messy situation, man, because I hate to see when families fight. Well, people gotta also remember, just because they going through something, other people chiming in, y'all don't got enough, bread in the butter in the bread to really comment on what they got going on. What they got going on is because they're close enough to even throw arrows at each other. But if they feel as though you going too far as somebody who's not really down with us, they'll turn around on you and be like, yo, relax. As they should. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of why I noticed that kind of Mace stayed out of it, because he was there at a point, then he wasn't there at a point. So they went through a lot internally between them. But to see and let everybody witness it for the world consumption, it's kind of rough, because when we say music, Jimmy kind of consistently now is one of the most consistent members of Dipset when it comes to music, because he still drops and he's kind of the most relevant right now in the space of dropping different collaborations and his little 16s here and there, his projects here and there. But I just think Cam is at a whole different space right now where music isn't his main priority. He's into the sports, is working. His relationship with Mace is very genuine at this point, and they have fallen outs before, but they have a strong base because they've known each other since kids. So, you know, to say it wasn't entertaining, I'd be a liar. But to say I enjoy seeing it, and now as an older man and knowing that I've had friends that I don't know what happened to some of them. Not even like we really had words, but sometimes people really do fall apart, or they just distance themselves, and you also do gotta respect that as well. So I think where Jim and Kim should sit down and have a conversation is that I'm no longer in this space, or I'm not young Kim, or I'm not young Jimmy, or what I'm saying. Everybody got to be respected as such in age groups where they are today, man. Because not only did they influence through the fashion, but music, they probably the most popular group to ever come out of Harlem. Cam might be the most popular rapper out of Harlem. Mace was up there, but Mace's window was a little smaller because, he got in the game. He seen a lot that he didn't like and he exited. But Cam kind of was consistently one of the guys that, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And, as one of the peak people uptown that, people idolize. Um, they built the look of New York at some point in time too, where you know, even when Jim Jones was wearing his hair blown out in a ponytail, that became a thing. I remember going to the club, right? And it's easy to distinguish Brooklyn, Queens, and then Harlem at that point in time. Cause we share certain elements. It might have been Tim's, baggy pants, big shirts, or thermals at the time. But when you used to see the leather AVs or the Pelés with the BBs and then the doobies and pins, those were Harlem niggas. That was a thing, and they made that look like a thing from the Dipset era, man. It's hard to believe looking out from other states how influential they really were, but people was out here trying to be like them for real, man. And then even down to drinking scissor as the actual bottle liquor that they had, not the two foam cup shit. Like they made smack DVDs and like a lot went on, man, in that era. So to say that it might potentially be over for good, it's kind of like what we looking at now with the whole ASAP mob being, dismantled. Some members are here, some members are there, not talking to some. They can't even get in the studio together. So this is actually, death of a dynasty.